Joshua's path to leadership was not an abrupt transition. It was carefully prepared by God through years of service, experience, and faith. Joshua, whose name means "the Lord is salvation," was first introduced in the Exodus narrative as a military leader. He was chosen by Moses to lead the Israelites in their battle against the Amalekites, where his success demonstrated not only his strategic ability, but his reliance on God. As Moses stood on the hill with his arms raised, signifying dependence on the Lord, Joshua fought valiantly on the battlefield. This early experience reinforced the lesson that victory depended on God's power, not human strength alone. Joshua also served as Moses' aide, accompanying him up Mount Sinai, where the two experienced the presence of God during the giving of the law. This close relationship with Moses allowed Joshua to witness firsthand what it meant to be a leader guided by God. He saw Moses' unwavering commitment to God's commands and learned the importance of obedience and intercession for the people. When the Israelites committed the sin of worshipping the golden calf, Joshua, who was waiting faithfully on the mountain, witnessed Moses' anger and the ensuing consequences. These moments were formative, showing Joshua that leadership involved both righteous indignation in the face of sin and compassion in guiding a rebellious people. A pivotal moment in Joshua's preparation came when he was chosen as one of the 12 spies sent by Moses to scout the Promised Land. Each tribe of Israel was represented by a leader, and Joshua, from the tribe of Ephraim, stood out for his faith and courage. The mission was fraught with challenge. The spies saw the land's richness, but also its formidable inhabitants, who appeared as giants compared to them. Most of the spies returned with reports that sowed fear and doubt among the people. However, Joshua, alongside Caleb, brought back a report full of faith, focusing not on the obstacles, but on God's promise. "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good," they said, urging the people not to rebel against the Lord. This act of faith marked Joshua as a man who trusted in God's word over human fear and set him apart as a future leader who would guide the nation with courage and conviction. God informed Moses that he would not enter the Promised Land due to his disobedience at Meribah, where he struck the rock instead of speaking to it as God had commanded. As Moses' time drew to a close, he expressed concern for the people and asked God to appoint a successor who could lead them faithfully. God's response was clear. Joshua, a man in whom is the Spirit, would be Moses' successor. This declaration emphasized that Joshua's qualifications were not based solely on his military prowess or loyalty, but on his spiritual readiness and reliance on God. In a solemn moment before the entire assembly, Moses laid his hands on Joshua, conferring leadership upon him and signifying God's choice. The people were called to recognize Joshua as the next leader who would guide them into the land promised to their forefathers. Moses, ever the shepherd of the people, reminded them of God's faithfulness and urged them to be strong and courageous. He spoke directly to Joshua in front of all, charging him with the same words, to lead with confidence, assured that God would be with him as he had been with Moses. After blessing the tribes, Moses ascended Mount Nebo, where he saw the expanse of the Promised Land stretching out before him. There, on the mountain, Moses died and was buried by God himself, a unique and tender act signifying the special relationship Moses had with the Lord. The nation mourned their great leader, but Joshua, filled with the spirit of wisdom that Moses imparted, took up the mantle of leadership. He led the people not just with strength, but with the assurance that God's presence would guide them into a new chapter of their journey. Applications. Preparation for leadership. Joshua's journey shows that true leadership is built over time through experiences, mentorship, and spiritual readiness. This teaches us that preparation for any significant role involves learning from challenges, observing wise mentors, and developing trust in God's guidance. Faith over fear. Joshua's stance as one of the two spies who focused on God's promises rather than obstacles highlights the importance of choosing faith over fear. When faced with challenges, we should remind ourselves that trusting in God's word and promises can lead to victory, even when circumstances appear daunting. Obedience to God's commands. Moses' inability to enter the Promised Land due to disobedience at Meribah serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of following God's instructions precisely. It emphasizes that partial obedience or acting on our own impulses can have serious consequences, and complete obedience is essential for fulfilling God's plans. The value of encouragement and legacy. Moses' actions in laying hands on Joshua and publicly affirming him as the next leader demonstrate the importance of investing in and encouraging the next generation. This teaches us that leaders should mentor and empower those who will follow in their footsteps, ensuring continuity and fostering trust within the community. God's presence brings confidence. The repeated assurance given to Joshua to be strong and courageous underlines that true confidence comes from knowing that God is with us. This application teaches us that when stepping into new or challenging roles, we can move forward with boldness, trusting that God's presence will guide and sustain us just as He did with Joshua.